Hello. It's so nice to be here again. Feels like it's been forever. It's been so long, and I have to say I missed you. I'm sorry I haven't been in touch, and I admit I hope that you have missed me as well. My adventures have currently brought me to, believe it or not, just a small town in Illinois. No crazy arid deserts or snowy tundras, just a small quaint town. Anyway, sorry, that's besides the point. Enough about me. Let's talk about let's talk about the star of the show, this character that we are creating today. Some of you might recognize him. This is David Martinez from the Netflix series Cyberpunk Edgerunners. As you can see, I've started out. Oh, did you hear that? Anyway, as you can see, I started out modeling the base shape just from some spheres. I have, of course, base models, but I decided to do it from scratch because I believe it's important to practice the basics every now and then, so they stay fresh in your mind. And as you can see, it's a good thing I did that. It took me quite a while to figure out the proportions and the shapes and get them to look how I wanted, but after enough time had passed, I'd done it, and as you can see, I posed him right off the bat too, because obviously the muscles would look different as they deform as you move through. I think it's very good to practice figure sculpting. I believe it's called, sculpting a character already posed in a position and trying to practice making sure the muscles look as they would, the way they would deform in that position, of course. Now here I'm just starting to refine, and as I started to work on his face, I was struggling a lot, and I realized maybe this would be better to do with symmetry, because of course I want the face to be symmetrical, and it quite literally doubles my work. So I removed it from the body and reorientated it so it was aligned on the axes, so that I could then work with symmetry. And still, it was a bit tricky, because I find that taking a 2D face, especially an anime stylized one, and making it 3D can be tricky, because they just the transfer, the way the detail is done is just so different. But after a while I was able to do it, just mainly just making sure there's flat planes and angular, sharp angles on the face to give it that more stylized look. And I knew I wasn't going for the exact same thing. I wanted to look a little bit more realistic, but not too much, because then it defeats the purpose, And then obviously you have to add the details like the ears and such, so it still reads as a face, of course. Adding ears is always a tricky thing, getting the separation between the ear and the head, because ears connect to the face in such a fascinating way. Have you ever had a close look at that and to see it's just so interesting? Anyway, here I am now adding his hair. This character has, spiky anime hair, exactly what you'd expect, really. And so I just buffed it up. It's so simple, I find, working with the fiber tools inside of ZBrush. Makes it so easy to get a simple, basic look dev type idea, the concept for the hair. Unfortunately, it's not very effective if you want to transfer it to another program. There's no simple and easy way to do it. So if you're planning on rendering or exporting and working on it in another program, it's better not to do too much detail on the hair until you get to that program. But this one I'd be rendering straight out of ZBrush, and I knew that from the beginning, so I wasn't too worried. Anyway, once I finished up with that, before I added the side of his hair, which is much shorter, he kind of has that very long on the top, very short buzzed on the sides thing. I wanted to get a high level of detail so I could make the lines look more crisp on his hair. And then obviously, with the high level of detail, I thought I may as well touch up his face. And I know I'm sorry we've spent so much time now just working on the details of his face. Yes, of course, here I'm adding the cybernetics. He's a cyborg character, he's got a lot of implants, so, and this is shown often by these this is often shown by these sharp, harsh lines that slice through their body to show an idea of mechanical, to give a mechanical vibe, I suppose you could say. And then, of course, ever adjusting, the little details of the face. It's never really perfect. You always fine tweaking things, as you can see. And then once I finished up with that, I put the face back onto the body and quite tricky lining up the hair. I couldn't move it all as one model though, because in ZBrush, if you combine the hair with the body, it ruined it. Anyway, now into Blender, I had to make some of the details on his jacket, which I just extruded from the body mesh. Such as his collar, I just find it's so much easier making things like that inside of Blender. And now I can start adding the decal and the lines and the grooves and the seams to the jacket. And then of course, after I add all of that, I can add the wrinkles. Adding wrinkles to clothes, I feel like I'm a broken record saying this, but it's just so satisfying, I remember. And it's interesting the different ways the different types of clothes will crumple and wrinkle and fold. I remember my first job, I came into work and I got chewed out because I hadn't ironed my shirt. So funny. I never did iron that shirt. I kind of said, "You're a moron if you think I'm going to keep this wrinkle-free. I'm getting paid minimum wage at this job. You think I'm going to iron my shirt? Are you kidding me?" They never once questioned me again. I guess they just assumed I was just doing a poor job ironing it. I never said to them directly that I wasn't going to iron my clothes. I just said, "Yes, of course." And then, but in my mind, I was like, no, I'm not going to be doing that. Anyways, sorry. Yes, I finished putting the wrinkles and stuff on his clothes, and now I add the cybernetics to the rest of his body, starting with his chest and now his hand, which is going to be a key part of the final shot and one of the most cybernetic things he has, because it is completely separated. It's like a fully bionic hand this guy has, not so much as like the other body where it's almost more implied. The cybernetics is very clearly a mechanical hand he has. So I wanted to make sure that it looked right, so I spent quite a while with it here. I find that I still have trouble sometimes getting the hard surface shapes to look quite clean cut and mechanical. But of course, the more you practice, the better you get at things like this. So that was one part of my choice in deciding to make this character. And I'm quite happy, actually, after I spent some time with it, with how it was looking, of course. It looks quite what I had in mind. I envisioned, and I was able to bring it to fruition. I only gave him one hand because I knew in the final shot you wouldn't be able to see his other one, so I thought, no need to waste my time modeling it. And I'm just doing some more final touches on the hand. I experimented with a few things and I ultimately wasn't happy with them, so of course I removed them. And yes, here, adding some more expression to his face and making him look more animated and expressive.
Can I get you anything else today, sir?
No, that's quite alright, thank you. Yes, thank you very much, yeah. Anyway, sorry, now as you can see, I am starting to colour in the jacket, and I want to make sure the colours match because the very bold, sharp lines in the animated character, I wanted to make sure I captured that, and I thought that would be an important part in recreating the feel of this character. It's actually always quite fun. I find it reminds me of the colouring books I used to do when I was younger. I always struggled so much making sure I stayed in the line. I got too impatient, so I just started going really fast to get it done, and my drawings were all over the place. The colouring was well outside of the lines, but you know what they say, this always saying, it's okay to go outside the lines a little bit in life, and I try to live by that myself, personally. Anyway, here I am, trying to add some more depth to the cybernetic parts by making them look like blacks, just to make them look like they may potentially go deeper inside of his body. And as you can see, the mechanical hand is a fully different colour from the rest to really show that it is, again, fully cybernetic. All the more satisfying once it's been coloured in, and once I get to the actual materials and to make everything look more metallic or fleshy, depending on, of course, whether it's metal or flesh, it ends up looking so much better. His eyes, I coloured them and I gave them a light bit of detailing, but I knew they were going to be quite far from the camera, so it wasn't a huge deal. Now, okay, I remembered, I forgot to give him, he has two chains that he wears, one of them with a cross and just one gold chain, and I'd forgotten to do this when I initially brought him into Blender, so I thought, may as well do that now. I almost forgot entirely, in fact, but I caught myself at the last minute. I had to post his eyes to make sure he was looking in the direction I was going to have the shot taken from. I find it's always tricky, very tricky getting eyes to look at the place you want them to be, It just tends to always seem like they're looking off in the wrong direction, and especially tricky making sure both the eyes seem like they're looking the same way and it's not kind of cross-eyed or anything like that. But I managed to align it properly, and then got the lighting right, and I started doing quick renders. this stage that's really, what you have to do, and tons of different renders with tons of different matte caps to get all the different possible materials you're going to want when you take it to the compositing stage, which of course is what comes after this. And yes, some of these matte caps are not so much for the material, but more to get the lighting, and then one final matte cap that's just with bright contrasting colors that I can then use as color IDs to mask out certain parts when I'm compositing that I want to look different. And yes, now here we are inside of Photoshop. Just pretty straightforward. Combine all the different layers that I've rendered out to get the final look that I'm going for. And my favorite part is it's really up to what I want to do with it. There's so much freedom of choice and expression with this stage when you composite in this fashion. I find that it's so quick, and the result always ends up looking so lovely. I find. Oh my! It's really starting to pick up in here. I should finish up soon before, it's getting a bit loud. And I apologize again for all the sound in the background. I hope it hasn't been too distracting throughout. Luckily, it's been pretty slow, but I believe the rush is starting to begin. Anyway, that's still besides the point. I'm sorry I'm getting so sidetracked today. It's been a long week. Very busy. I've been traveling a lot, and yes. Anyway, here I am, just adding some more finishing touches. On the metal, the neon bit, and his collar. I really wanted to give that a nice glowy feel, and I wanted him to have some sharp outlines to, stay true to the 2D drawn roots of this character. So I gave him some tough contrasting shadows and some subtle outlines, and another, of course, because it's 3D, I wanted the rim light to give more of a 3D effect to kind of make the two contrast, the 2D and 3D, try and blend them, because I don't think the two need to be mutually exclusive. I think all styles deserve a place in this world. Yes. Anyway, so here and now using Photoshop just started to do some coloring, to some more proper finishing touches, sharpen up some lines and such, and I added some volumetrics here by hand. Made it look like there's maybe some fog or mist. The light of the neon light was reflecting off of it. And then here I was testing out some brushes, and then to make the logo there, the Edge Runners logo from the television show. And obviously, pamper it up a little bit, and then there we go. It's the final result. One more for the books. Thank you again, and I hope to speak to you again soon.